Alright guys, welcome back. Survival Living here. So first I want to discuss this biolab that was discovered in California. Chinese run illegal biolab in California. We actually covered this back in March, I believe it was, when it was first uncovered, and it's resurfaced in the news. And I want to discuss this some more because I actually have photos now of inside the facility and a little bit more backstory on the owner and stuff. So hang with me here guys, because this was operating on US soil and it was a product of China. Okay, this is Chinese owned, not just an individual. China had their hand in this, and it makes you wonder how many more of these facilities are around. Now, one of the first things I want to do guys is apologize for my voice, my appearance. I am sick. Don't worry, I didn't catch the Wuhan.
A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit?
Bad bug going around. My wife got it. She went down hard. I fought it for a while, and finally I got it now. I'm drinking coffee, drinking Theraflu, drinking Alka-Seltzer cold. I'm drinking whatever I can just to mitigate the symptoms. So, pathogens labeled HIV and Ebola found inside secret illegal Chinese-owned biolab in California. Now guys, when we covered this, it was very weird that this lab, should be some photos popping up there for you. The only reason they found this is because a code enforcement officer happened to see a water hose going inside of the side of a building. Yeah, they thought it was abandoned for, like a decade, and made him kind of go look around and see what was going on in there. Inside, they found all kinds of research equipment, freezers inside the facility, mice, packages and stuff labeled with Ebola, some in English, some in Mandarin. And they say that some of the coding that's used and written in is in some type of code. They can't even figure out what it is. So yeah. So with this coding officer, Harper, after the discovery of the facility, a 9-month investigation by the city, which was eventually roped in by Representative Jim Costa, after being stonewalled by the CDC and FBI to figure out what activities were taking place inside the illegal lab. I found that very interesting. In a 42-page report, the House Select Committee, In a 42-page report, the House Select Committee on the Chinese Communist Party, which launched its own investigation to the matter in September, details some of the shocking findings and the troubling questions raised by the presence of an apparent Chinese-owned research lab on U.S. soil. Local officials spent months repeatedly trying to obtain assistance from the CDC, the report states. The CDC refused to speak with them, and on a number of occasions it was reported by local officials that the CDC hung up on them in mid-conversation. Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff going on with this. Local officials were similarly unable to get help from other federal agents. Congressional investigators found, including the FBI, which informed local officials that it had closed its investigation because the Bureau believed that there were no weapons of mass destruction on the property. But they found Ebola, which is technically a bioweapon, if it can be made into a bioweapon. This is an unsanctioned biolab with Ebola and also malaria, which can also be used as a bioweapon. Something smells fishy in Denmark, ladies and gentlemen. Well, here in America. Now, some of the photos I will be showing you are graphic in nature because they did show the test subjects of these mice. I do apologize for that, but I figured you guys need to see this. Some of these mice were engineered, let's put it that way. They were engineered to contract COVID-19. They were engineered to transport COVID-19. They were engineered to infect with COVID-19. Mice. Yeah. Now, all these different types of diseases that they had hepatitis. Some of these mice were contracted with hepatitis, infected, I'm sorry. This Ebola, I haven't found any documentation on the mice being infected with Ebola, but Ebola was found in the facility, which makes it a bioweapon, actually. Ebola is a bioweapon, can be used as a bioweapon. The photos of the facility itself, guys, is just freaking nasty. It's a crapshoot. I mean, they got stuff just thrown everywhere, stored everywhere. They got trash can containers full of biohazard waste. I think it was interesting that when they entered the facility, Harper, the code enforcement, when he entered the facility, there were people there in lab coats that identified themselves as Chinese nationals. That's their identification, Chinese nationals. Now, when it comes to the man behind all this, you know, they got to have a scapegoat no matter what. And remember, I said this is also it's not just one man, it's China. Should be a photo of the guy, Zhu. I guess that's how I pronounce his name, has been charged with fraud and making false statements. Zhu entered the U.S. illegally through Canada after being slapped with a $330 million Canadian court judgment in 2016 for running companies engaged in massive theft of American cattle-related intellectual property, according to the report. The court found that Zhu and his PRC conspirators made many disturbing statements as part of their plan. These include instances where Zhu, in response to co-conspirator reference to American imperialism, replied that the law is strong, but the outlaws are 10 times stronger. Here's another one. Through Chinese app WeChat, this is a private message Zhu sent through. Zhu claimed that his fraudulent activity would help defeat the American aggressor and wild, ambitious wolf. It makes me wonder how many more of these facilities are here. You know, we discuss sleeper cells as far as militant trained groups that are from different nationals, different countries here in American soil, just waiting for their order to attack infrastructure. All right, our substations are a big thing. Our water treatment facilities are a big thing. Our drinking waters, most of our lakes and stuff like that that supply water to places either have a chain link fence or no fence at all. All right, these are infrastructures that need to be protected. If these groups are here, it's easy to destroy, infect, pollute. Makes you wonder how many of these facilities are there. These biolabs, bioweaponry, these diseases and stuff, guys, that's a threat that you just cannot see until it's released. And then what? The FBI decides that they're not going to do anything about it. A CDC doesn't want to mess with it either. Why? Boy, they were all over everybody. Make sure you mask up, weren't they? But here's this actual threat where they're infecting mice to carry this and to transport and spread it. But ain't no big deal. I bet you if they dig hard enough, you'll definitely find some politician that has their pockets lined with money from this. It's amazing how our politicians are above the law in this country. When they're supposed to be our representatives to bring our ideas to the table for the betterment of America, we do what they say and don't ask questions. It's got to be a change, and unfortunately it's going to take something massive for that change. I'm not going to get up here and beat on my chest and tell everybody that you need to be doing such and such, because people that does that on YouTube aren't doing anything. They're just going to get you hemmed up, riled up, and get you screaming and hollering and make you do something stupid while they just sit back and make another video. They're not doing anything about anything. For us to take our country back, it's going to take millions of us. Yeah. Unfortunately, the prepper community is actually very small in America. Thankfully, pro-constitutionists, we got a large number. I don't know what the statistic is because you can never tell by online surveys because, I mean, really, over 80 million voted for Fallen Joe. I mean, come on now. It's going to take a massive movement to get this country back. And one of the things I want to discuss with you guys on that, we have to have a government body. We have to have a government body that also controls our military, because the whole anarchy stuff that I see floating around online is a pipe dream and a stupid dream, because if there is nobody in charge and our military is just willy-nilly everywhere, we're going to have foreign countries come in. Now, should states regulate themselves? Yes, I am 100% agreement on that. I believe every state should have its own military, should have its own police force, should have its own laws, and have its, I won't say president, elected official to run that state. Federal government, get rid of them. We don't need them. Never have, never will need them. All that's there for is just to, I don't know, it's a business, it's a corporation. That's what the federal government is, in my opinion. People might get pissed off at me for saying that. That is my opinion. I believe America needs to be ran on state level and state level only. We need to have some type of pact to keep the United States of America together, as far as if a foreign military was to try to invade, all states move forward in protecting a single state. But that's just my delusions. Okay, that's just my thought process. Federal government, it's just a money-making corporation. But anyway, I told you, coffee and Theraflu, they don't mix sometimes. You start getting a little loopy and carrying off with a bunch of crazy stuff.
A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit.
Anyway, guys, I want you to be preparing as much as possible for you and your family. Bioweaponry is something that you cannot see until it is too late. I would come up here and say, hey, make sure you get your gas mask and stuff like that. But the fact is, guys, you don't know what's around until you got the symptoms. So I'm not going to do that. Do I have gas masks and all that stuff? Yeah, for chemical attacks and nuclear fallout and stuff. Keep good house cleaning habits is my advice. Keep good personal cleaning habits. Wash your hands regularly. My wife works in the food industry. She's around people all the time, so it's very easy for her to catch a bug, a virus, a sickness, and bring it home. My job as a mechanic, I really don't see much of anybody, but I do drive people's vehicles, and they've been blowing snot all over the place and wiping on the steering wheels. Yes, I can bring something home myself. It's very possible. People's vehicles are a personal item. A lot of people spend a lot of time in there, and I'm sure there's all kind of stuff in those back seats. Ugh. I don't go to the back seats. I stay in the driver's seat. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, you guys just be safe. I'm laughing because I was just realized I went on another rant. I got to get some rest. I got to go back into work tomorrow. I've been trying to work while I've been sick, and I think I made like 5 hours yesterday, and I had to go home. That's just too much on me. So I'm gonna rest up today, go back at it Saturday, and ride it out as much as possible. Anyway, guys, you be safe. Take care of your families. Keep your eyes on everything that's going on. Stock up. Be prepared. And just be safe out there. Speak to y'all later.